program and not those of Odyssey or 97.3 The Fan. Sometimes they tell some pretty hefty fish stories. We don't know if they're true or not.
And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters here of Let's Talk Hookup, which is right next to the actually busy this morning. San Diego Landings in Point Loma. Great show today. We have the guys from Two Fish Jigs. We have Bohdan and Captain Matt Brawler. We're going to be talking some fishing here with these guys, so you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan. It's sales event time, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. The Ford year-end sales event has limited time offers featuring Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport with standard 4x4 capability and GOAT modes. Goes over any type of terrain. I know people that'll be taking their own Bronco Sport around to tackle their holiday to-do list. Shopping for the perfect gift? How about the Ford Explorer, the all-time best-selling SUV that can fit the whole family this holiday season? Inventory is arriving daily with great selection to take your test drive. Come see the award-winning lineup yourself before the year ends. Hurry into your local San Diego County Ford dealer today. Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a fun show today is going to be. The surface iron gurus in the house.
Holy mackerel. And look, Bohdan came bearing gifts, too. Did you see that?
Yeah,
good stuff.
Look at that.
I can tell you one thing. Whoever wins that prize is going to have some Pete Gray drool on the outside of the bag. He was getting awfully handsy with that prize today.
Good morning, Bohdan.
What's up, boys?
Good
morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Yeah, how's things?
Really good.
Yeah?
I mean, it was a good season this year. Some people didn't like it because we didn't fish as much yellowtail at the islands, but it was a fun year this year. I'm looking forward to next year already.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at what you brought.
And we've got one new jig in there that we're introducing at the PCS show.
Hey.
We've got the B3 that's just coming out. It's another big jig.
Show it up, man. Show it up there, Matt.
Where am I showing it?
What do you think? Yeah.
It catches stuff.
Yeah. So what's the uniqueness of the B3?
It's just a different shape. And it's big. It's kind of like heavier. If you guys fish a giga, it's the same size, but it's a little bit heavier.
It's a big jig.
Yeah,
It is.
it's good
Big
for
fish,
fishing
big jig.
Yeah.
Well, we believe that, but a lot of guys like a little bit bigger jig. It stays in the water if there's a lot of current or swell. It also, can wind it pretty good. A lot of guys like to wind too fast these days. Let me tell you, a lot of guys. I don't want to look at Rick right now because I don't know how fast he winds, but I know a lot of guys really want to burn it back in. And we're trying to teach people, slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Let the jig stay in front of the fish's face and let the jig swim.
Slow as pro.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. But,
that's a Ron Lane move.
Really? That's a Ron Lane?
Ron Lane's, that's his line. Yeah, for sure. So why slow?
Not super slow, but
Yeah.
no, but everyone's fishing with these really fast reels now. And when these surface irons were designed, they were designed for slow reels, jig masters and 4/0s, and these reels now are 3 times faster than those reels are. So you need to kind of let the lure do what it's designed to do, not just.
It's not a Wahoo bomb.
Yeah.
It's not a Wahoo bomb.
You can't wind a Wahoo bomb fast enough, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of guys talk about they like to wind fast. And it's like, I like to wind fast too, but I like to do what the fish want and what my lure is designed to do. You want your lure to swim right. If you're just winding fast, your lure is just spinning most of the time.
So this is, by the way, this is the giveaway today.
Yeah, that table full of lures.
Table full of lures. Do you vary? Is each one of these jigs unique in the speed that you wind them?
Yeah, it's kind of, especially like the JJ 240, 270, and 300. They all have like a sweet spot. It all depends on conditions too. If the currents are pulling hard, you got to slow down a little bit. If it's slack, you might need to slow down a little bit too. It's kind of just, you have to do what the fish want. That's the biggest thing. Like Joe Dirt said it the best. You got to do what the consumer wants.
Yeah.
It's not what you want. It's the consumer.
If you're not getting bit, change it. Huh?
Yeah. That's why we made different variations of just one jig, because you need the right tool for the job. And the same thing's not going to work every single day.
Yeah.
We kind of have the mantra of, a golf bag.
Yeah.
And so Brandon's not here, so I'm going to use his name in vain a little bit.
He
and I had a conversation the other day. He's part of the team, but when you have a golf bag, if you're a golfer, you have more than one club. And so the idea that, you don't shoot a sand wedge, every shot, you don't shoot a driver every shot, that different places, different conditions. And so what's the right tool? Matt's really taught me that, that, look at what's going on. And one of the other things is, we like bright colors because we want to see the jig and see what it's doing. So exactly like you're saying, do I got to speed it up? Do I got to slow it down? Well, if I can't see my jig, I don't know what it's doing. I don't know how it's performing in the water. Part of it is the responsibility of the angler. Part of it is the responsibility of the guy who's, on the end of the line. A lot of people think it's just the jig, and the jig is very important. And knowing what it's doing in the water, whether you got to slow it up, speed it down to get it to perform right.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I must say I've never seen a pink surface.
You have now.
I have seen it. It's a 300.
Yep. It is. We kind of like that bubblegum color. That's, a lot of bass guys. A lot of bass guys are fishing that bubblegum, and so it does stand out, doesn't it?
It's cool. Yeah.
On the rack, you can see it. So some guys like it. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it is one of those.
Some
colors.
girls might like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bring them on.
Yeah, but that's just another color.
It's just another.
It gets bit.
Yeah.
Why does color matter?
No.
Sometimes I would say sometimes. Like I said, I want to be able to see my jig, so it matters to the angler. It's one of the reasons why I don't fish a lot of dark colors.
You're going to see that.
You're going to see it.
Yeah.
And so I want to see it and see how it's performing. If I can see it, the fish can see it. But Wounded Soldier right there, Matt's holding up one of the great colors that a lot of people believe in. You can't see what it's doing in the water very much. And so you want to know you have a good jig.
Yeah. That's what you call Wounded Soldier.
Wounded Soldier right there.
Interesting.
For me, I do think there are times calico bass fishing is what certain people are going to say, where color does make a difference. Yellowtail fishing, show me a color they won't eat. Yeah. There's one color I stay away from, and that's because I haven't tried it, because everybody said stay away from shiny for yellowtail. Don't fish, the reflective colors like chrome. But some guys do, and I've stood next to a guy who's caught fish on a chrome color for yellowtail. I don't know what Matt would say about color. He says it doesn't matter.
Well, the chrome thing's the same thing as like a dark jig to me. I can't see it very well. They'll still bite it, but it looks goofy.
Yeah.
To my eyes, it doesn't look very good in the water.
So it's all about the motion.
It's all about the motion.
Yeah. And what makes good motion when you're fishing a surface iron? What puts that package together?
So that is the $1 million question right there. That is the thing every jig guy is looking for. And so Matt will walk you through some of the basics, but it's a lot of variables.
Yeah. So what makes a good surface iron is the break and cadence. Every surface iron kind of has its own little cadence, but if it doesn't break away from that certain kick, it kick, and then break out, it's definitely not going to work as good. Yellowtail will basically follow everything you cast at them. You could cast a hot dog with a hook on it, and they're going to look at it for a long ways. But if it doesn't break to the side and make them react, they're never going to eat it. unless they're really fired up.
You want them fired up.
I prefer them to be fired up.
Yeah. How do you? Okay, you as the captain of the San Diego, how do you fire them up?
Oh, we throw a lot of bait.
Yeah.
We make it rain.
Pour the feet on.
Yep.
Get that bait out there.
Yes, yeah. Chum is a huge part of our
Yeah.
situation on the San Diego. We are not afraid to throw bait, and that's usually what gets them boiling. Sometimes they're up on their own bait. That's kind of a whole different story there. But for sport boat fishing, we're throwing chum. They're getting fired up on whatever we're throwing: sardines, anchovies, mackerel. This past year there was a lot of different bait, and we were throwing it all over the side.
Yeah. So
Croaker. We threw a lot of croaker this year.
Croaker, because
I was taking wells of croaker. And
were they eating croaker?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yellowtail and bluefin boiling on yellowfin croaker.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Really weird throwing brailers of croaker over the side.
I can imagine. But hey, that was what was available,
It
right?
was better than throwing our sardines we needed to fish with over the side.
Yeah, because didn't have very many of those.
No.
at some points.
Yeah. So having a good lure to fish with was nice too, because you weren't running through the bait too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what was this season like on the San Diego? I mean, we kind of like Bohdan made reference to it.
There was some good fishing.
Coronado Island yellowtail fishing.
There was a little bit of that island fishing going on. It was tough for sport boats a lot of times.
Yeah.
The sea lines were definitely wreaking havoc as usual, but the skiff guys were kind of able to sneak in a lot of times where we had all the sea lines and the skiff guys were catching them, but there was opportunity. This season was definitely a grind.
Yeah.
There was a lot of days where we'd catch them good one day and the next day we couldn't get back on the spot, or the fish would move 20, 30 miles and we couldn't get to them, stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of not expecting to catch anything, but you definitely had some shots.
A lot of offshore. So more bluefin than yellowtail.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time at the islands, but it was still tough. There was days where we'd catch a handful of yellowtail and maybe some bluefin, even though there was a pretty good sign of both. But offshore fishing, yeah, there would be days with limits. We'd go out there and catch limits of bluefin, and the next day we'd catch 2. There was a lot of that.
Bohdan, did you have some stellar days this summer?
I had some really good days.
Yeah,
this year.
tell us, talk about them.
Well, Matt was saying, big bonita this year.
Oh yeah,
Big
they're still
bonita.
here.
They're
right?
still here, yeah.
I'm a fan of the bonita. Don't get me wrong.
Oh.
That's one of my spirit fishes. When I saw it up on the wall over there,
Yeah.
Pete, the first time in the world headquarters here,
There
it
it
made
is.
me happy, warmed my
Yeah.
heart. If it'll eat the jig, I like it. But we did do a trip down to Cedros this year, and everybody does good down there, and a lot of fun down there. Got to the Bay of LA. Got spanked this year down at the Bay of LA by Matt. I, did not do well on that. But sport boat fishing this year, got, some trips on the San Diego on the Mission Bell, and fun to see Cameron, running that boat and owning it. And, for me, islands fishing is where it's at. And so for me, getting to look at an island for some reason just makes me happier.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
didn't see,
Scenery's better.
Matt will tell you there maybe was some kelp yellowtail this year. That's one of the things I miss is, kelp patty yellowtail fishing offshore. I haven't had that in a couple of years. You guys probably have, but for me, when those fish are out there and, there's nowhere for them to run, they're going to stay by the patty and you can kind of just plunk away at them. That for me is some of the most fun yellowtail fishing that I haven't had in a while.
Yes. Yeah. Kelp. Speaking of kelp's really come back at Point Loma. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it? The Coronado Islands coming back? Because I remember when I was a kid. I mean, there were these thick, lush kelp.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
There's still some spots where there's a little bit of kelp, some bull kelp and stuff, but not like not like SKR used to be. That's not a thing. We get to drive in places where when I started working on the boat, you couldn't even drive the boat there.
Yeah.
We catch a lot of fish in places where there was very, very thick kelp, and there's zero right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in the middle grounds at Lover's Cove and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like thick with kelp.
Yeah,
There
that's
hasn't been
not
kelp
there.
in years.
Nope.
Do you think that's because of the Tijuana River?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not very good at. I
No.
just know there's no kelp there.
And it's not coming back like it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's
maybe
kind of
someday it will.
it's kind of opened up some areas for us. It's definitely made it easier. Fishing in the kelp for the average passenger is tough.
Yes.
And where we were fishing, a lot of the yellowtail and bluefin is where the kelp used to be, and there's still plenty of structure for those fish to find, and it's definitely tough in there. Yeah, it's been those bluefin were crazy. There's so much gear and stuff. it's tough to land a bluefin at the Coronado Islands, especially on a sport boat.
What's been fun with that bluefin at the Coronado Islands is, it was that's always been a thing from before you and I were even around. That was always a thing, but never the grade of fish that you guys have caught in there the last couple of years. I mean, it was always the, a 12-pound fish with a number 6 hook and, 12-pound line and an anchovy. And there was trophy bluefin.
Yeah, well, I think we caught
on the
one
anchor at the Coronado Islands.
We caught, I think it was like a 70-pounder.
Sheesh.
Yeah, we caught a 70-pounder, and I think it was like 10 fathoms of water. It was kind of gnarly.
So cool.
Yeah,
Anchored up at the islands.
That was actually drifting, but we weren't drifting very fast, and we were near a lot of gear. I thought we were going to lose that thing. Yeah. But a lot of like 30 to 40 pounders, it's tough to land them in there between the sea lines, the rocks, the skiffs, the ropes, the old gear. It's hectic. You're fishing. You're fishing in the hood down there.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think that those bluefin hang out there because their fellow guys are in the pens?
There's something to those pens. I don't know if that's why they're there, but the fish do get around them. Yellowtail, one of our best days of yellowtail fishing was on those tuna pens this year. We were drifting. I'd stopped the boat on 2 fish. I remember stopping the boat on 2 fish this year and having to drift for 60. Wow. 2 fish on the up and down, stop the boat, drift for 60. And they were all like, call them 20 to 30 pounders.
No kidding.
Yeah. That day we had 130 and they were all big ones.
Oh,
wow.
mackerel.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So there were some stellar standout days.
Yeah. But the next day I think we caught 40 or something.
So, darn.
Yeah.
Darn.
Now,
just a day for 40.
Well, for a lot of people, that's a slow day now.
Well,
which
it's
is
not.
It's
Yeah, that's
definitely
not a
not.
slow day.
It's crazy.
Especially when it's that great.
Oh my God. Yeah. The grade was excellent.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that 40 fish nowadays isn't a stellar day. When I started working on the boat, when I started fishing on the boat, when I was working at Fisherman's Landing, when I was 13 or 14, if the San Diego caught 5 yellowtail, I was trying to skip school and go fishing.
Yeah, if there was a shot to catch a yellowtail, you read that report in the Union Tribune,
Yep.
And if there was a shot, the boat was full the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Because there was a chance. And
Yeah.
now 40, 30 pounders is just, yeah.
That's all right.
Hopefully we'll get them better tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Bohdan, how did you come about with Two Fish
Yeah.
Jigs? How did you put this team together?
That is, I'm going to say it's a miracle, Pete. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a miracle.
Wow.
That's one of the things we're going to say.
That's kind of what you do.
That is what I do. But
Yeah.
that reality of it started with me tinkering. It started with me wondering, I'm getting tired of, buying jigs because they're expensive. And then I'm getting tired of buying jigs that I can't figure out why aren't they working. And so it really started with me trying to figure out what makes a jig swim. Started with me casting jigs, and by casting I mean pouring the metal and making a sand cast jig. And Matt can tell you some of the first ones I did were not that exciting. They were not good jigs. And so Matt and I started talking about jigs and talking about what shapes.
And you were just a passenger on the boat.
I was just a passenger, just a lump on the boat trying to figure out how to fish in San Diego.
But a passenger that loved it.
Yeah, I grew up in Minnesota fishing, land of 10,000 lakes. And so I grew up fishing. And when I came out here, it was like, first time I caught a surface iron yellowtail, I was like, I want to do that. That is what I want to do. Enough of this crappie fishing and bluegills and bass. Let's fish for, a yellowtail with the surface iron. And once I started kind of figuring jigs out, trying to figure out what makes a better jig, and figuring out shapes, figuring out hole placement, figuring out what size rings to put on them, figuring out what kind of hooks. But that shape, everybody's chasing the perfect shape. Everybody's chasing, I want the perfect. And then started CNCing lures. First I tried to, do it. Took me 4 hours to CNC my first lure on the machine I had. And, really was a struggle, if I'm honest about it. A lot of failure. A lot of that did not work. And chasing shapes. And finally, with Matt's help, we settled on this, shape of the JJ. And I really kind of believe it. It's a similar shape to a lot of other jigs that were produced a while ago. And I just think it's a shape that holds up. There's some ability to have some variation. Even we make it bigger, we make it smaller. So they kind of go 10% bigger. We started out with the JJ size at 240, and then we moved the hole placement. We started doing the 270 and the 300. Then we did, the LJ. Then we did the Giga, and then we did the Mini. So those are all 10% up or down from that JJ original size. And
the basic shapes of the jigs are pretty much the
They're
same.
all identical because those are CNC'd. The shape is identical. It's just 10% bigger, 10% smaller. And that's what the miracle of technology can do for you. You can scale things bigger or smaller.
So for clarity reasons for the people that are listening and aren't sure, 10% bigger and smaller on the LJ and the Mini, but the 240, 270, 300, those are not 10% increments. Those are the same lure.
Those are
different
identical. It just has to do with the hole placement. The nose hole is 0.240 of an inch from the nose, and then 0.270, and then 0.300. And like we talked about in golfing, changing that hole placement gives you a different performance in the water. It is the same basic kick, the same basic motion, but as it goes up, like Matt said, if conditions are a little different, you can have a different tool. And we really believe in that. Now, you can ask Matt, how much of the time do you fish a 240?
A lot.
That's number one.
That's where I start. Yeah, that's definitely where I start. The 240 pretty much lives on my fishing rod. And if I notice that I'm not getting bites or I feel like the conditions are a little different, that's when I start switching it up.
Now, what does the larger or smaller number 240, 270, 300? What does that do to the lure? Like, does it make it stay in the water better? Does it faster wind? Is it slower wind? Like, what does the number associate to the end result wise?
So the number is obviously the hole placement, and the higher the number, the further the hole is back. So it creates a little different pivot point. So if you're trying to speed it up, I usually go with the 240. If I'm slowing down, I start getting the higher numbers. If I'm going 300, I'm definitely letting the lure do more of the job than me doing more of the job. So I'm slowing down a little bit and feeling the lure and kind of seeing how it performs in the current.
Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up there. We talk. Hold that thought because
I didn't realize
we have a lot to talk.
We have a lot to talk about
the
show already.
for sure, and
No doubt.
lot to talk about, and this phenomenal giveaway here.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas all over again.
We
thanks
love
to
Christmas.
Bohdan and Matt,
We do
right?
love Christmas. Yeah.
You can tell this is going to be a good info show because I look down at the clock. Oh man, we're late. We need to get on with it. We're going to have a great show today. Lots of great info. Clearly having these two boys in the studio this morning. If you want to join us, man, we want to hear from you. If you want to be a part of Let's Talk Hookup this morning, give us a call at 833-288-0973. One more time, the phone number, 833-288-0973. We're standing by at the fan this morning to take your phone calls. Also, you can text the show. We've had a lot of really good text message questions already coming through, and we have 2 hours of your text this morning. If you want to join us on that, the only way to send in a text is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download if you don't have it already. It's the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. You can catch all the archive shows. You can listen to Let's Talk Hookup on your drive home from work by just firing off that Let's Talk Hookup app and hearing all the past shows. And it's the only way to text in your questions to Matt and Bohdan today. When you do, make sure you include your contact info because as we talked about, the boys have brought us a whole pile full of beautiful Two Fish Jigs, and one lucky caller or texter is going to win those. So if you send in your text, we want to make sure to be able to get that packed to you. How it works is at the end of the show, we're going to draw one potential winner from the caller side, one potential winner from the texter side, and then Bohdan's going to flip that prize coin that'll designate whether the winner is a caller or a texter, and you are going to have a custom bag of hand-picked Two Fish Jigs.
Like $250 worth of jigs right there.
Well, probably that or more.
That or
for
more,
sure. Yeah, no doubt
very
about
nice, very generous.
an amazing prize for one lucky caller or texter. Again, if you want to get your shot to get through, it's 833-288-0973. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Lots of great info coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is the Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It may be winter in Southern California, but those of us who live here know it's a great time of year to go fishing, and certainly not time to put your gear away. This is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay, the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. This is the ideal time for bay bass fishing, and I get the inside scoop from Johnny. Heck, he will even rent you one of our killer blue skiffs. This is also a good time to go work on your reels, and Doug is the man for that job. If big largemouth bass are your bag, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. They have all the right stuff and live bait for a perfect day on the lake. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is super cool too, for both freshwater and saltwater tackle. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is on Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance to staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at afco.com.
Here's exciting news from Baker Marine and Fujinon. For a limited time, get $175 of instant savings on the Fujinon TSX 1440 stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Talk about the perfect gift for anyone that spends time on the water, or the perfect time to finally get your pair. Now is the best time to upgrade your gear to a pair of Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and they service all brands right at their San Diego Shelter Island location. The Fujinon Technostabi TSX 1440 is the best value in stabilized binoculars, period. They deliver rock-steady vision even in rough waters. And now, for a limited time, get an instant rebate of $175. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they'll be there when your binoculars need service. Stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and grab your instant savings now. This offer ends soon, so get your pair from Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up. And they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River and your boat is just steps away from your room makes it great. Do yourself a favor. Call Charmel at 1-800-330-0326 or go online, katmai.com. And like Pete says, they will hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. No surprise. Busy on the phones. Everybody's excited to talk to Matt and talk to Bohdan and maybe even win this giant pile of Two Fish Jigs. Again, if you want to get your shot today, 833-288-0973 is how you do it.
Yeah, Kyle's standing by, and there's a line open. Of course, if you want a better chance to get through, the phones are the key. So 833-288-0973. Well, let's jump into those phones.
You got it, man. How about we started off this morning with Alex? He's called us from San Carlos this morning. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys. So I just got a question on as far as like picking up the right jig. You know, I probably go out maybe like once a month during the summertime, but I definitely am not skilled enough to be able to like read the water or anything like that. So I guess the question would probably be more for Captain Matt. Like, when we get on your boat, like, how would you suggest that a angler goes and like picks out the right jig for the conditions?
So current is the big thing. A lot of times, current and like chop can be a killer for the surface iron. For me, like we were just talking about, I start off with the 240. If I don't know anything about what's going on, that's where I start. If I notice that my jig's coming out of the water or it feels slack, if you look at the back of the boat and the lines are just screaming off the back of the boat, there's a lot of current. Or if you see like a buoy or something, that when we're driving around, I'm always looking at the buoys, I'm looking at the foam lines, and I'm trying to see which direction the current is going. For the most part, like I said, I started at the 240. If we're going up to North Island, I might switch to the Giga or the B3 when it comes out, just because that's
a little choppier up there.
Yeah, the weather side of the islands can be really weird for a surface iron, just because there's push and pull. The waves will be hitting the island and coming back. So your lure gets pushed and pulled by those swells, and it can be really weird on a surface iron, especially like our style surface iron, which is kind of has a scoop back. The JJ is more of like a flatter calm weather. In the lee of the islands, the rock pile, middle ground, stuff like that. If I know we're going to go up to North Island, I'm probably going to tie on a Giga or this B3 when it comes out, just because it performs better in that chop.
B3 is the big one.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Heavy line. I think the first fish I caught on it was a 130-pound bluefin on the skiff. Yeah.
Wow.
What's the difference between a B3 and a Giga, or why would somebody use one versus the other?
They definitely swim different. It's more of like it's not the Giga and like the 240. It's kind of like a pattern. They have a pretty distinct pattern. That B3 is going to kind of wander a little bit more. It's definitely, it's definitely more erratic, a bigger side to side. It's got a bigger area.
Yeah, so they're the same length. So both the B3 and the Giga are the same length, the same profile. But like Matt said, it is going to swim different in the water. Some of it comes to preference. A lot of guys like that bigger lure, especially if they don't cast a surface iron a lot, because it's a little bigger, heavier. It's easier to cast. And a lot of guys are going to like that, especially if they're down at Cedros or down at Bay of LA and they're, casting a surface iron all day. Mm-hmm. And they want to be able to, huck that thing as far as they can do it. And, those bigger profiles, I think, get noticed a little bit more. I don't know what Matt would say. And you can talk to Danny Wade. I've been talking to Danny Wade a lot lately. And, that idea of a little surface iron at La Jolla. But for me, I like those big jigs. And I think Matt said it really well. Start at a 240. If you have questions to the caller, start at a 240. And if it's not working, change it up. But that is the starting place for a lot of people. Even Matt told me one time, he put a percentage on it one time. He said, that 240 is going to be tied on my rod. He said, a lot. Well, it's on there almost every day.
Almost every day.
Yes.
So, but for that, you said you would start with a 240, and is it if you're not finding the bites when you think you should be, that's when you change, or is it a condition thing where like if that lure is not staying in the water, would a 300 stay in the water better, or is it almost the opposite where a 300 would stay in the water better, but a 240 gives you better?
So it could go both ways. If I feel like conditions aren't letting my lure perform right, like if I know what my jig swims like, at least with the 240, like I know what that's going to do. If you have a baseline, you can go from there. But if the conditions, I feel like the current's pulling a little too hard, or my lures, as I'm winding my lure, it's starting to spin more, then I'll switch my cadence. And then I talk about this a lot, is body language of the yellowtail. Mm-hmm. If the guy's chumming and these yellowtail are basically jumping out of the water, they look mad. They're running around really fast. I want a lure that I can probably wind a little bit faster. If I see them up and we're chumming anchovies or something and they're up milling and sucking on the surface, they're not going crazy. I might want to try a 300 because I'm going to wind that a little bit slower so I can keep it in their face and let them slip up.
So the 240, you feel you can wind faster than the 300?
A little bit, yeah. Not a lot.
These are small differences.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. It's not. I'm not cranking like a yo-yo jig, but a little bit of just a touch faster or a touch slower can make all the difference in the world.
And what reel are you fishing with this?
Trinidad 20A. That's where I live.
Trinidad
40-pound mono. That I don't know of a better reel to fish with.
Your jig preference might change, but your jig reel doesn't.
Yeah, that's it. If we're yellowtail fishing, especially at the Coronado Islands or La Jolla, occasionally I'll fish 50-pound if I know we're fishing big ones, or I know we might be in structure or something, and that's when I fish the Giga or the B3 on the 50-pound because there's a little bit bigger hook, and I fish a Trinidad 30 for that. But Trinidad 20A. 40-pound. That's really all you need.
That's cool.
And what rod are you fishing?
I have a lot of jig sticks. I probably have over 20 different jig rods. But this past season, I fish in Alua a lot, all kind of different variations. This past season, there's a ESM Alua that my buddy Todd gave me, and that rod's really nice. That lived on the boat this year. Yeah,
10 feet.
10 foot. It's kind of a glass composite, mainly glass, but it has a graphite butt. So it's kind of light in the hands, but it's got some beef to it. You For me, I like to have a little bit beefier rod when we're fishing islands, just because the sea lions and the structure and stuff. I want to hook them and get them in quick.
What about you, Bohdan? What's your weapon of choice?
Great question. I started with a graphite, or a CalStar graphite, or 100J, and it still is my favorite. But as Matt said, I do own more than 20 jig sticks. I'm not a glass guy, but I'm starting to bend to that a little bit. I am starting to look at it, but as Matt said, to fight the fish, having that graphite and the power to pull that fish, I like that. I don't want to fish with a noodle. I really don't. And the rods for me are about delivering the jig. And so I want to deliver it a little faster too. I want to push that jig out there and get the cast out there versus having to take my time with the fiberglass rod. For me though, a Lua is good. I also have a UC Wahoo that Matt wrapped for me that has a little special place in my heart for it. It's got a little chartreuse on it. So, colors on your rod, you got to ask that, Pete. Does that make a difference? Does color on your rod?
It could. What about the reel and the line on your?
I do fish a Tranks 500 sometimes. Yeah. I do like Matt said, a Trinidad 20 is fun. I just hate packing the line, and so that Tranks makes it real easy. I'm kind of lazy on some of that stuff, and
you fishing it with straight Power Pro?
No, I fish mono. I am a mono guy, 100%. Okay. Right. These guys have convinced me that if you throw a jig, fish mono. You pick out backlashes easier. It casts smoother. There is never a time I fish a jig with Spectra.
Okay. Does it have something to do with the float of the mono too, do you think?
For me, it's the stretch.
It's the stretch.
I like the feel of the straight Power Pro or braid with the surface iron. I like to be able to feel the jig on the end of my rod. The bites are crazy violent, but these surface irons, it's just like the slower reel. They were designed on a slower reel. They're also designed on mono. You need that shock absorption. You need the stretch to keep the hook in the face, not bend out your hooks. And it's just easier on your body. Way easier on your body.
You have a good text, huh, Rick?
Yeah, I definitely do. Let me pull it right back up. This one was from Jake in Carlsbad. Hey, I'm really excited to hear the boys from Two Fish Jigs talk surface iron this morning. I wanted to ask if you could provide a little bit more information about the B3. Will this model be available in both CNC and cast versions? Is there any chance of getting it before the shows? And also, where did the design come from? That's all from Jake.
It's a great question. So, is it going to be available before PCS? No. PCS is the beginning of that jig. We have given out a couple online with some things. And so there may be another giveaway on the website. We got a giveaway here, so you can call and become a winner here. It will be available at all of the landings after the PCS show, and they will ship it to people. If they call in to Fisherman's. I know Fisherman's has good customer service, and we'll get it to people. Seaforth will have it, and we'll give it to people too. That B3 is something we've been tinkering around for a long time, and wanting to finally branch out with the CNC. It won't be available originally in a sandcast jig. It's going to only be available in a CNC lure. It just takes me a long time. Since I am the production, I can only produce so many sandcast lures. There may come a day where we sandcast it, but right now I don't see that coming in the cards.
And you're going to have a booth at PCS, obviously.
We are going to have a partnership. So they will be available through Fisherman's Landing. Okay. And so Fisherman sells all the jigs. We also will have some other jigs at PCS. Through one of the booths, we're going to put it all on social media, and they'll be available. The things we don't sell through Fisherman's. Okay. So Fisherman's doesn't stock the Jumbo J, which we also make, and we will have some CNC yo-yo jigs that Fisherman's doesn't have too.
You guys have made some really cool yo-yo jigs, both in cast versions and CNC versions, and we all get so excited and used to talking about how good those surface iron swims, and surface iron's everybody's favorite way, and it's the coolest way to cast and hook a yellowtail. Some of the unsung heroes that you guys make are your yo-yo jigs, and it's just it's easy for it to get swept behind because it's so exciting to cast a surface iron, especially a bright chartreuse one, and see a yellowtail streaking across the side of the boat to eat that thing, and everybody gets fired up. But the yo-yo jigs
catches
are
more
murdered.
yellowtail than
Yeah,
anything.
totally.
Matt will probably tell you yellowtail often live at the bottom. And they're living close to the structure down there is what a lot of people will tell you. They come up when they're feeding and when they get excited by bait, but they live at the bottom. And so having a yo-yo is a very effective way. And I think it's fun. Some of these other guys don't think it's as much fun. I get
It's definitely not.
I still think it's fun. But that idea of it's a lot of work too.
Yeah.
And so we do have a brass. We call it the brass monkey. And we wanted to use brass. Not because it's more expensive, which it is. Brass costs a lot more than zinc, which is the other heavy. But brass is a little bit heavier than zinc, and so it gets down there a little bit quicker. And we really like that compact shape of the brass monkey. We think it gets down there quicker and gets you in that zone. But you got to know what to do with it. And so, once again, just like a surface iron, yo-yo means put it down on the bottom, crank it up, 20 cranks or so, depending on your reel, drop it back down and stay in that zone as much as you can.
All right.
Good info. Hey, with that said, we're going to find out what's going on the water. It is time for the Catch Report, sponsored by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It is the place to fill up your car, your truck, or your boat with the lowest in gas and diesel prices. Hey, did you know that Summit also is the greatest places to get the lowest price on ice and snacks before your trip? Over 40 snacks for just 89 cents, as well as sandwiches, frozen bait too. Ice is nearly half the price of the other places at only $3.99 for a 25-pound bag. You can get 100 pounds of ice for free with a 35-gallon fill. It's Summit Gasoline, free ice for Let's Talk Hookup listeners, and always the lowest prices in gas at the San Diego Sports
And
Arena.
a $6 great car wash, too.
It's a good spot,
Yeah.
man. No doubt about it. Hey, we're going to find out what's going on the water. We got Marcos from C4 Sport Fishing is on the line. Good morning, Marcos.
Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing?
We're having fun times in here this morning, talking to San Diego and Two Fish Jigs, and just want to know what's going on at Seaforth.
Well, we've had some great fishing since last time we talked to you guys. Throughout the week here, all the bonita you could want on both those half days, the mid, the 1 a days, the 2 a days, the sea watch on those 3/4 days, catching bonita, bass, bottom fishing. It's been where Tribute finished out their season last weekend. They went out with limits of bluefin there and very good bottom fishing, so about all you could want there. Those guys are taking a break now, getting the boat ready for next season, if there's a break. And it's looking like we might have some great fishing for a while here, although we do have some weather. Looks like it might be rolling in next week, and hopefully that doesn't change things too much. But check the schedule. We got plenty of trips coming up this next week there. We got those half days. During the week, we have those mid-morning departures, 8:30 departures. We also have, so actually, I take that back. This upcoming week, we have morning and afternoon with the holiday week coming up here. We got morning and afternoon. Got those 7 to 4 trips on Tuesday. We got one on Friday, next Saturday. Looking into next month, as things roll on there, the Tribute's going to be back out on the water. They'll be running those Baja Coast trips. So definitely check out the website, seaforthlanding.com. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. And it's definitely that time of the year where if you're looking for something for those fishermen in your life, come down, get a gift certificate, sign them up for a trip, get them out there fishing, because this was a spectacular year, guys.
Awesome. Well, certainly, like you say, I mean, it's just crazy to see this level of fishing this late into December. I mean,
Pretty amazing.
Unbelievable half-day fishing, and like you said, up until the very last trip that got off the dock of tuna fishing, still having great fishing before boat weary. It's been a wild time, and like you said, it's still going. Like I said, I'm sure we'll get right through this little bit of weather we got coming up and get right back to catching. Well, Marcos, if somebody wants to take advantage of fishing, especially right now, holiday time, people in from out of town, jump on the half day this afternoon. Go catch bonita. I mean, you have somebody in from out of town.
Nice weather,
beautiful weather, and wide open bonita fishing. No, there's no better way to introduce somebody to what's going on right now.
Bohdan might be on there,
especially if they're coming out of one of those other parts of the country where there's snow.
Oh, yeah,
totally.
Snow and -1.
Yeah,
yeah.
If you really want to flex on your family that's in the snow right now, take them out for 70 degrees in the afternoon and wide open surface bonita fishing.
Yeah,
Then
they'll be
send them
jealous.
back home. Yeah. Well, Marcos, a great job, buddy. Sure appreciate it. Another very fun round of reports at Seaforth. One more time, shoot us the way if somebody wants to join you and get in on this fun fishing.
seaforthlanding.com. We've got our full schedule up there for all those trips through this month. And like I said, we're starting to schedule some trips for next season too, if you're looking at some of those longer Baja Coast trips. Call the office, 619-224-3383. More than happy to help you guys out, get you or that fisherman in your life out fishing.
Great job, buddy. Appreciate it very much, Marcos. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Talk to you then, guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. That's going to wrap up our Catch Sport, sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing orders for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest in customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com and be sure you make that reservation today. When we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. A bunch of phone calls, really good text. You stay tuned. It's more with Bohdan and Matt. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
3 kayaks, 6 surfboards, 10 rods, and 1 truck bound for Baja. That's where my brother and I's most recent quest into the Baja Peninsula began, in search of waves, fish, and fun. We are able to transport all the kayaks, rods, and boards without straps due to the easy transportation of the Hobie iTrack inflatable kayaks. We brought a tandem and 2 singles, the I-9 and 11, and they were totally enough to get all 6 of the boys onto some of the best halibut and grouper fishing of their lives. Now, you might be thinking, 3 kayaks? I thought a tandem and 2 singles would only be able to fit 4 people. Well, a simple lawn chair on the back of the kayak was enough to turn the 2 single kayaks into tandems. Catching upwards of 100 fish a day in the mangroves, ranging from 15-pound grouper to tons of legal halibut, we had our fill and headed back to the States. Check out the full video of this trip on our YouTube channel, Fastlane SC, or come by our shop in Mission Bay and check out a Hobie inflatable kayak. See you soon.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers.
For local or long-range fishing, we have you covered. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Being a part of the San Diego Sport Fishing Landing gives us a distinct advantage when it comes to getting you on the latest and hottest tackle for your trip. Our expert staff knows exactly what you need for your long-range or local trip, and we will not sell you something you don't need. We carry a huge inventory of the right tackle. So visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Our hardworking crew will make your fishing experience one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. All our open party trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fun with the boys from Two Fish Jigs. It's been a very busy morning. If you want to get through on the phones, the only way to do it is 833-288-0973.
Let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
You got it, man. They're packed solid. We're going to this time talk to Randy. He's calling us from New Mexico this morning. Good morning, Randy. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, guys. Great show as usual. Love listening to your show. Hey,
Thank you.
I've been fishing for a while. I'm in my mid-60s, been fishing since I was a kid out in the ocean. I consider myself to be a fairly capable bait fisherman. I've always had problems with throwing the surface iron. I had a Lua with a Newell reel, and I ended up selling it. It's too big around. I just never was confident with it. And, I'd like to get back into it. I'd like to know what your suggestion is for me for a setup and a jig. I have the reel. I have the Trinidad 20.
Perfect.
And I have 800M, 800H, 800XH. But I just wonder, should I go with something a little larger but not longer, but not quite as beefy as my Lua, maybe a baby Lua or something from CalStar that would be, I don't know, more suitable for me.
What do you guys think?
My starting point is always for someone is a Glass 90J. CalStar Glass 90J. that is like
Easy.
It's a good starting point. It's not super heavy. It's beefy enough to catch big fish, light enough to catch small fish, and you could fish almost any size jig on it.
CalStar 90J.
CalStar Glass 90J. That was my first jig stick, but that's where I tell people to start. That's a good starting point for basically anybody. Anybody could fish that rod.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I love that he called and said, I'm a good bait fisherman, but fishing the jig, I get frustrated. And the thing I would say is practice. That's one of the things. Don't just expect to walk on a sport boat, pick up a jig stick, and be able to wing it all day long.
Right.
You got to practice picking out a backlash. I get them still. I won't look at Matt and make eye contact, but everybody gets a backlash, and everybody has those moments where the fish are boiling. You get too excited and you goof up. And so how can you practice? How can you train your thumb? I think your thumb is your most important thing. Everybody focuses on the rod. Everybody focuses on the reel. Your thumb is the part. Matt showed me his casting thumb one time. Maybe he'll hold it up for the camera. It looks different than his other thumb.
Yeah, it does.
Spool coverage.
Yeah.
And that's where I just think, your thumb is your most important thing. Getting to know, even knowing, okay, I got to stop that cast because it's getting away from me. There are things that, you think let the rod work, let the reel work. But if you as the angler aren't controlling it, so tie on a 2-ounce weight, tie on a 3-ounce weight, go to your park, cast, practice and get good at,
take
casting.
one of your old jigs and cut the hooks off.
Even what one of the guys said is you got to practice with something behind you. Cause on a sport boat, there's other people. You got to be careful. You got a hook in that thing. So I wouldn't cut the hook off because, if you hook it on somebody, if you hook it onto the gaff, if you hook it onto, the window, if you hook it onto another passenger, that's dangerous stuff. Safety is important and being able to do it. That's why a lot of guys will say, stay in the bow because there's less people up there. Well, now I go out on the boats and there's more guys in the bow than there are on the back sometimes. And it gets frustrating, but knowing how to cast on a busy, crowded sport boat.
Picking the right jig too. And I got to say, these Two Fish jigs, they swim really well and they're easy to fish.
Keep saying that, Pete.
Keep
saying that. We love it.
I'm just saying, I'm not a big jig fisherman. I love surface iron fishing, but I'm not the most successful jig fisherman in the world. But these things get bit.
Yeah.
And they work for me, right?
And the other thing I would say to the caller and to any jig fisherman is, I've learned something about jig fishermen. You got to be a little stubborn. You got to be a little committed to fishing a jig. Yeah. A lot of guys who fish the jig. And
so do you fish bait at all when you go fishing?
No,
Matt. No. I mean, talk to Danny.
He drives me crazy.
He drives you crazy. Yeah. Will you put a bait on? Please?
I have. There are a lot of trips I take where I don't even bring a hook out.
Yeah. I mean,
so that way I can't.
Danny Wade. He doesn't.
We'll be rock cod fishing in 300 feet, and he'll be casting a surface iron.
Well, Dan, that's not the right.
Well, it's not. But once again, are you doing it for practice? Are you doing it to keep doing it? And for me, I just love making a cast. Yeah. I love making a cast, and for me, fishing is all of those things that go into it. Casting, being on the water, reading the water, looking at the conditions, listening to the captain, and working with your other passengers.
The tackle guy in me won't be able to not say this, and I have to. And as if this to me sounds like a caller that is aware of his gear and is a pretty good fisherman and knows that he's bait fishing. Yeah. If the tackle is what is creating the problems, I would highly suggest buying a Tranx 500.
Yeah.
Brala said it best. A Trinidad 20 is the single best performance surface iron casting reel in the world. It's the best that's ever been made. A Tranx is not a distant second place, but it is incredibly user-friendly. And nobody drives a race car after they get their permit. And if you know that tackle is the part that you're struggling with some, you can buy that reel today and adjust the braking systems and put it into the hands of somebody that just has a basic concept of casting a conventional reel. Thumb on, thumb off. The brakes will do the rest. You might not achieve the same distance out of the box that Brala is going to achieve on day one, but what you will happen is you will have a considerable amount less casting problems. And then as you become a very proficient surface iron fisherman, then put that thing to the side and make it your backup and plug your Trinidad 20 in as a number one. But you will have a way more user-friendly time with a Tranx 500 and a Glass 90.
You'll master the mechanics. That's the biggest thing. The mechanics are huge.
Well, let's talk about eating for a second, because I know we all love to eat. And one of the great places, and I know you hang out there, Charlie's Landing, right there at Seaforth.
I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, that place is so awesome. I mean, their smash burger is it's beyond good, and their fish tacos. And here's the thing: you can get them fried or you can get them grilled. Fish tacos, whichever way you prefer. They have fantastic salads. Their shrimp tacos, breakfast. I mean, you want to get some good breakfast? Breakfast burritos are pretty off the wall, right?
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're really good.
I still think their coolest deals if you're holding a ticket for any trip at a C4 Sport Fishing, from a whale watch to a long range trip. If you've got a ticket in your pocket and you buy an entree, they'll buy your first cold one for $1. Any beer for $1, your first one if you're buying anything from those guys. And yeah, the food is incredible, but just the atmosphere at Seaforth is cool. It's such a fun landing, and they've got all that seating outside. You can watch the boats come in and out, and it's a really cool spot.
Yeah, you can hang out there, watch Matt bring them a whole bunch of fish back in the afternoon, or something like that, and just that whole atmosphere. But Charlie's Landing, really a great place, great atmosphere, and super. I might mention too, super reasonable prices.
Yeah.
Too.
Another fun thing with people in from out of town, man. Show them what you're into. You go down to the landings and get some fun food while you're at it. Hey, when we come back, we got another hour of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. It's going to be a text message as we say goodbye to our friends on the fan, but we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live.
Do you know why 1 million customers visited Summit Gasoline last year at the San Diego Sports Arena? Because they give you the lowest price on fuel, great service, and easy access, even for trucks and trailers at their 24 pumps. Summit is known for the best price on ice, too. Almost half the cost of any other vendor. 25 pounds for just $3.99. Martha and her crew love fishermen, and they'll prove it by giving you 100 pounds free with a 35-gallon fill-up. Summit offers over 40 snacks and drinks to choose from for only 89 cents, and even a line of hand creams and lip balms for 89 cents too. Summit now proudly offers locally made burritos and sandwiches, made fresh daily and ready to go wherever the current takes you. Summit just upgraded their car wash, and for a limited time, get a deluxe car wash for only $6. Grab the wife's car, grab a cheap sandwich, and make up for the day on the water. Summit Gasoline, lowest prices, friendliest staff, easy access, and free ice. What more can you ask for?
Rock Cod Rick here to tell you about Parker Boats and the guys at West Coast Marine. By now, you all know my boat partner and I bought a new 25 Parker center console from crew at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. We've known for a long time that a Parker was the boat for us. It's a stout workhorse of a boat built to last and get you home when the seas get rough. Parker Boats at the launch ramp, the offshore tuna grounds. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip and there they are. Parker Boats of all sizes, fishing in the same areas as the sporties. There's a good reason for it: fishability and seaworthiness. West Coast Marine has several new Parkers in stock and ready for delivery, and they have more on the way. Don't get caught without a reliable boat when fishing is this good. Take it from me, if you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see West Coast Marine. Check out the inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing: need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Sport fishing, not just for dad anymore, thanks to the Dana Wharf's Kids Club. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing invites all anglers 12 and under to join the Kids Club today. Membership includes over $100 of really cool stuff, like 2 free fishing trips, whale watch trip, as well as a free Dana Wharf Kids Club hat or t-shirt. Log on to the website, danawharf.com, or visit them in Dana Point Harbor, the bass capital of the West, and only minutes from the 5 freeway in Orange County.
Haida Gwaii Safaris, formerly Queen Charlotte Safaris, invites you to experience the magic of Haida Gwaii Islands, British Columbia, Canada. Hi, I'm Valerie Hoprich. 25 years ago, I fell in love with these incredible islands, the breathtaking scenery, the warm community, and the truly phenomenal fishing. That passion inspired me to open my own fishing lodge, just steps from the Sandspit Harbor at Haida Gwaii Safaris. You will be fishing in pristine, pressured waters for Chinook, king salmon, halibut, lingcod, and much more. Plus, be surrounded by untouched beauty. We pride ourselves on creating an unforgettable adventure that turns first-time guests into lifetime friends. You will come for the fishing, and you will come back for the memories. We are booking now. Call us at 1-877-815-2892 or visit our website, qcsafaris.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Haida Gwaii Safaris, where adventure and friendship meet.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live. Pete Gray here, along with Rock Cod Rick Mexa in the world headquarters here. Let's Talk Hookup. We're watching the American Angler unload right next door here at Point Loma Sport Fishing. And we have a couple of great guests here, Bohdan Batis and Captain Matt Bralla from Two Fish Jigs. Of course, Matt also runs a San Diego, captain of San Diego, and he also, we haven't talked about it, Captain's Concepts too. He's got a lot. The guy's got a lot going on.
Off season is like my favorite time for Captain's Concepts too, because like that's when you get like the juiciest of them. Like Captain's Concepts is so killer in the summertime. For I'm going fishing next week, and I get to watch a video of exactly what Gavin did on the Queen that week, and exactly what the guys that caught fish on the San Diego yesterday. There's a video that comes out of them talk about it. Wintertime is more my favorite because the videos are stuff like this, and whether it be an in-depth surface iron, tackle info, that kind of thing. Like there's so much more like juicy nuggets that happen in the wintertime than in the summertime with the reports.
Yeah.
But you said it best, man. We're pumped to have these guys in here today, both Captain Matt and Bohdan. And if you want to join us, it's been a very, very busy morning of Let's Talk Hookup. And the second hour is all about your text. If you want to join us, the only way to do it is via the text, which is only available through that Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download if you don't have it already. You can catch all the archive shows, all the great information, and when you send in your text question today, make sure you include your name and your contact info. Man, Pete, you talked about at the beginning of the show, these guys were so generous. We have a bag full of Two Fish Jigs. I see minis in there. I see CNC JJ jigs. I see the brand new B3. You'll be one of the only guys on the block that have that brand new lure.
Hardly available.
The Giga.
I mean, even Matt, look at Matt. He's been
I only have a couple of them.
My favorite color that Bralla hates is in there, the Wounded Soldier. It's just going to be a really cool prize pack for one lucky caller or texter at the end of today's show.
All right. Hey, I don't know. I like this color right here.
Oh, we love it.
That's a new one.
That's a new one, huh?
Yep.
That one looks like it's fishy.
The first cast I made with that one, I caught one.
Yeah. That's a 240.
Yep.
That's 240.
Yeah.
240.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is the first Two Fish Jig I ever owned.
Oh, so this one.
I was given from Brandon, and it's a Wounded Soldier 270. And I had one of the best days of surface iron yellowtail fishing, and I'm not willing to take it off. I since have a box half full of them, and the same way that you said your 240 never comes off your rod, that Wounded Soldier 270 will not come off of my surface iron rod until a sea lion or the bottom takes it away from me. But
so
there's zero reason to change, and I won't.
Yeah. What's the difference between the 240 and the 270?
It's just the whole position on the front there.
So they look like identical. Yeah.
The profile is exactly the same.
Exactly.
The same. Yeah, they're identical.
So everything about them, the nose, the hips, the thickness, everything is all the same. It's just a little difference in the front hole where you tie your line to.
Yeah.
So the 240 is a little further back, the 300 even further. The 240 is the most forward.
But the bodies are identical.
Exactly.
On the 240 to 270, and so
when it gets spit out of the machine, it's the same lure.
It's the same lure.
And then the hole placement is what designates 240, 270, 300.
It is, and that you would think that's such a minor difference. It can't affect it at all. And it does, and like we said, it's got the same basic pattern, the same basic kick, but the 300 is a little more accentuated, a little harder break. And I really think when we first started making them, we put them in the water and everybody said, oh, the 300, that's the thing. It looks the best to people's eyes. But that reality of what looks good to us versus what looks good to the fish. And for me, it was really interesting to see that. Everybody said the 300 is the one to do. And now everybody says it's the 240. Not everybody. There are guys who only fish the 300. There are guys who only fish at 270. And for me, I like having that variation. And since I get to be the guy who makes it, and Matt, said this is what we should do. We really like that idea of having a little variation.
So which hole is different? The one that you tie to, or the one that
the nose hole, the one you tie to?
So this one next to the hook is identical. They're all the same. It's this one on the top that you tie to is either forward or back.
Yep, and that's where the lure pivots. So that just a little further back, it definitely changes how they perform.
Okay, so what is the different situations you're going to fish the 240 to 270 and the 300? Since they're identical jigs other than the hole placements.
So it's definitely current. For me, like I said, 240, especially when we're drifting. A lot of times on the San Diego, we're in the last 10 years or so, we do more drift fishing for yellowtail than we do anchor fishing. When we're drifting, I like the 240 because I can kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Once we put that anchor down, you kind of have to let the current do a lot of the work for you. So that 300, I can cast it out and slowly crank it in, and the current's pulling on it, and I'm letting the lure swim with the current. It's like a river, so you're kind of letting it do its thing in that current there.
So the higher the number, the slower you want to fish it? Is that something you can relate that to?
It changes day to day. It changes day to day.
It depends on the current.
It depends on the current. Conditions are everything. And it's also what you like or the fish like. There's a lot of these lures we make are not, it might not be what Bohdan likes or Brandon likes or what I like. It might be for someone else, because I know a lot of guys who are good jig fishermen and they tie on a lure and it's like, man, I don't like that thing at all, but that's their favorite lure. So it's all what you like, but it's also what the fish like. So it could be day to day.
I do like that though, Pete. I know you're looking for a rule of thumb, and I like that you're looking for where's a starting place. So I think as a starting place, you're saying the right thing. But as Matt said, you can't always stick with that. That's not a universal statement. So it's not always slow
conditions
down.
every day.
Conditions make a big difference.
It's Mother Nature. There's nothing set in stone. So
Matt said something earlier that I really think is worth repeating for people on the radio, that I really think is important. And the more I learn about jig fishing, the more I believe in it. Is, like you said, if the fish are really fired up, if they're on the chum and they are just chasing everything, you can fish a little faster. There are days out there where you're fishing too fast. There are days where part of the reason why you're not getting a bite is because people are winding their jigs way too fast. And if you notice the fish are out there slack tide, there's not a lot of current, things are a little bit slower. That's when I put a 300 on. I put a 300 on when, there's not a lot of water movement. There's not a lot of flow. That's the word I'm learning everybody uses these days. Current, other things, flow. If the water isn't moving fast or moving at all, put a 300 on.
Okay.
The one thing I want to add to this too is these guys make really, really good jigs. And I would bet that the difference between a 240 and a 300, regardless of condition, is oftentimes going to be a better swimming lure than a lot of what else is out there. So don't be so worried that, because you have a 240 versus 300, the baseline of what all of these lures do is they swim really good and they have good hardware. They do. they really, really do. That they're good. And it's good. It's good to have different lures for different conditions, but man, one of those things that if Brala thought that the perfect condition today was for a 240, but you had a 300 on there, I would bet that 300 is going to perform a whole lot better than a lot of what else is
you're
in your
still going to
box.
catch a fish. Yeah, you're still going to catch a fish, but there is those niche times where there you need to dial it in, and you might get one bite or you might get a couple more bites. That might be the difference. But all these lures, if you present them in front of a yellowtail that's boiling, you have a shot of getting a bite. Yeah.
Well, let's jump in and find out what's biting out there.
Got it, man. It's time for our catch report with a private boater buddy. Captain Mark Wish has got our fishdope.com report this morning. Today, that's sponsored by Gamakatsu. They've got an amazing lineup of fishing accessories that are now available that includes fillet knives, everyday carry knives, those killer G boxes, bags to store your tackle, ceramic braid scissors, and a whole lot more, along with the best in freshwater and saltwater hooks. You can see your local dealer or check gamakatsu.com. We got him. Captain Mark Wish is standing by. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Ricky, Pete, Matt, Bohdan. Man, you guys are just, this is so much fun. I love listening to all that jig jive you just were just talking about.
Jig jive. I like that one.
Okay, but I got to take issue a little bit with what you were saying, because I didn't hear one single mention of your jigs being fished for sea bass, and I kind of like fishing those things.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about there, by dropping that hole back a little bit, probably works a little better at slower speed and probably has a little more kick. And that's the surface irons that I would always look for in the old tatties, and mostly tatties, for fishing sea bass on surface iron, of which I've caught more than a few. So that's a whole new dimension you guys can talk about.
You caught more than a few sea bass on a surface iron, Mark.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like that.
We've had some. In fact, one classic day. We can take a little sidebar here, but John Anders and I were sitting inside the West End on a little strip of kelp with perfect conditions, watching all the boats that were running around the West End and going to the so-called big bite down the back. And we had the most incredible surface iron bite on big ones, 30 to 40 pounders, watching all these guys going around, and the whole fleet mounted up back there where the fish had been for 3 days and caught nothing. It was awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But no, sea bass, they, when they're on the bait schools, and, obviously it's not a squid grounds thing most of the time, although there are some techniques. But when they're on the edge of kelp, chasing the bait around and stuff like that, yeah, we've had some good sea bass surface iron fishing. But we digress.
Cool. So what's been going on out there?
Well, not a hell of a lot. But this is because it's the last report of the fall season. Tomorrow is the first day of winter, winter solstice.
Whoa.
Shortest day of the year. I think it's 9 hours and 54 minutes of daylight. And but what's cool about that is that in a couple more days we start tilting back toward the sun. We start gaining a minute or and later on even 2 minutes a day, and that means summer is right around the corner, boys.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, but for the time being, we got to make the best of what we got. So along the coast here, no shortage of squid around. You guys want to stock up right now? There's a big area of bait that moved in right out in front of San Pedro, so it's really easy to load up right now. And again, as I mentioned before, when the squid gets in that zone right there, you guys want to try and catch a wintertime sea bass. You want to set up on Furman Reef, which is just inside of that, and just up current from the boiler. You got to watch out for that boiler that's in there, because it's definitely a bumper. You don't want to be poking around inside that kelp bed without knowing where you're going. And 7 to 8 fathoms, and that spot loves the uphill current. You need a good uphill to get it going, and then once you get set up, be chopping and chumming that squid. Keep a steady trickle of squid rings going over. Get the smell in the water and be patient. Those sea bass are around, and it's a good way to catch one. Good place to catch one right there. Also along the coast, totally different fishery, is that offshore bonita that's around. I mean, what a showing those things are making. It's just awesome. Yeah, all the way pretty much from Dana down to where you guys are in San Diego, mostly off the beach a little bit, 1 to 3 or maybe 4 or 5 off the beach. And you're going to find them by trolling feathers or little plugs. Watch for the bird schools. The birds get on the bait that the bonita are pushing up and throw it through there, get a jig strike, and then fish them on live bait or crocodiles or colt snipers or something along them lines. And man, it's just game on. Those guys are just so much fun and tasty if you take good care of them. Man, those things are delicious. And at the islands, not much of consequence, to be honest. There's other than cod fishing, in terms of surface fishing, virtually nothing that I've heard of anyway. Fortunately, there's pretty good rock fishing at multiple islands, but that's going to end pretty soon here. It ends at the end of the year. It's all over for a while. So if you guys want to go catch a few cods, get out in the next few days before our weather changes. And then like you guys were talking ahead of this segment here, you mentioned that captain's concepts thing, you know, Matt, Gavin, you guys have done an amazing job with that in terms of helping out fishermen. You know, obviously you guys are, you know, slanted toward the sport boat stuff, which is fantastic. But I listen to those reports and I take lots of notes on a yellow legal pad. I've got 2 pads almost filled with notes listening to you guys. And all that applies to what we do on private boats tremendously. And God, we just use that info and dial in our customers, and hopefully they're paying attention and catch a few more fish. But congratulations to you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that's this week's report.
Wow. And of course, fishdope.com, $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, no space, Hookup Now, your $30 code. And how do we find you, Mark?
Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. Phone number is area code 714-840-4262. The website, pacificedgetackle.com. And for you guys thinking bait tanks for next year, now's the time to get an order. We're a little slower than normal, so we'll get you in and out a little quicker. So check in with us, and we'll get you going on your new tanks, sir.
Good info, Mark. Great job. Appreciate it. Report very much. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
You got it. We'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Appreciate that. You know, as a private boater, we just had the private boater buddy there. One essential piece of equipment, and I know Matt will agree with this, is a good pair of gyro binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a must-have.
Yep.
It's an absolute must. Baker Marine, the best place in the world for your gyros, has right now a great deal on the Fujinon TSX 1440s. They have an instant rebate. It's like $170, $180 on it. Brings the price down to close to $1,000 on those.
And that's the new ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
The TSX.
That's
awesome.
And it's not the true gyro, the true $5,000 gyro, but it's pretty darn close.
But for your skiff, it's a world of difference.
Yeah.
Trying to look through regular 7x50s in a skiff is
it's a game changer.
Yeah, you might as well just go home.
Yeah.
In terms of finding fish, that is the best spending of your money that there is. I mean, it's
no question.
On a private boat, you will find such a higher percentage of fish with your eyeballs than you will with anything else. Better than your electronics and all those kinds of things. Like that is a must. That is a must have. And that's bringing the price down to, I'm not trying to pretend like $1,000 isn't a lot of money. It is, but that is a have to have.
Worth every penny.
Yeah. So, and Baker Marine is the place because they also service them too.
Totally.
Oh,
you buy it from
Ours
Baker,
go there a lot.
Yeah. At some point, your gyros are going to need service.
Yes.
And Baker are the people. And you buy it from them. You're not going to pay any more than anywhere else. And now with the instant rebate deal, you're going to pay even less than normal. They're the best. So you're looking for that last minute Christmas gift for somebody special like Bohdan on your list or something like that. Go to Baker Marine, get a TSX 1440 by Fujinon. You won't be sorry.
Find your own fish.
Yeah. Find your own fish. Yeah, find your own fish. Don't just follow Matt around, right?
Please don't.
Yeah, please don't. I love it. All right. Hey, you have a great text now, Rick.
I definitely do. And this one was an interesting take. It says, hey guys, I got myself a JJ 240. It's the only jig in my arsenal that swims without having to put any type of hitch in my retrieval speed. The jig is absolutely awesome and quickly became my favorite. My question is, for the other jigs in my box, if I were to change the hooks on my newer Tatty 45s to a 2.0 size hook like I believe is on my JJ 240, would that improve the swimming action? Is there anything I can do to my old jigs that aren't as good as my JJ 240?
Definitely. Hook size is huge. There's a reason we have those hooks on our lure. I would sure love to have a giant ST66 on the back just because it's never going to bend. It's never going to break. But your lure's not going to swim good with that giant heavy hook on the back end there. There's a fine line on balance. Surface irons are like surfboards where balance is kind of everything. The way it's shaped, the ring size, the hook size can affect everything. And I mess around with my rings and hooks all the time. Even how you configure the hook, whether we call it backwards or forwards, How you put the hook on can make a difference too. So
because a treble hook hanging from a vertical jig like that, there's a difference in position.
yes,
A rudder down or rudder up is what we always say. Like,
so the way I tell people to do it is you want the flat side to have the one hook and the 2 barbs on the belly side, the round side.
I'll show that.
That's important. And you pick up every one of these jigs, and every one is like that.
Yeah, for me, that's the proper way. Although candy bars and a couple older jigs used to be reverse. But I've noticed me messing with jigs, because I'm always putting new rings or hooks on different lures, is that can make or break your jig too. You could have a jig that looks really good. Everything about it looks good. Your hook could be backwards. Or you have the wrong hook on there and it's popping out of the water. If you have too heavy a hook, it's going to pull your tail down and your nose is going to come up. So if you have too heavy a hook, it can make your jig pop out of the water. You have too heavy of a ring, it can affect how your lure swims as well. So
on the smaller jigs, smaller hook.
Exactly.
On the larger jig,
bigger
a larger hook.
Yeah, but not too big. Not too big to where it's going to create drag and weight.
Yeah.
The old days.
So the caller did ask, and we'll give them the straight information. It's a 3.0 hook we use on the 240, and then it's a 4.0 on the Giga.
And then what about the
A 2.0 and a 1.0. So it goes down in size as the jig gets smaller. So LJ has a 2.0, and it depends if you're a VMC or a Mustad guy. So some guys love the old Mustad hooks. They're a little bit bigger.
These
so
are
just
what?
like these are VMC hooks.
VMC hooks.
Those are the
That's the one.
That's the jig hook.
That is the best hook around.
Some of the old timers swear by Mustads, and when we began, it was all we could source, and so we put Mustads on there. And a 3.0 Mustad is bigger than a 3.0 VMC. So just like every other hook, the manufacturers don't have it, the same across the board. They have their own sizing and they use the same numbers. So, if you're putting a different kind of hook on there, we also think the 3X or, the 2X and the 4X and the 6X size hooks makes a difference too. So the thicker the hook,
of the wire.
Yeah, the gauge of the wire. And so we don't think you need a 6X, hook on there. We don't want
it's
that.
Drag the jig. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about the rings? Is there particular size?
There are. Yeah. And so we believe we've got the ring size for each one. And, as Matt said, there are some guys who think a little thinner wire. Matt likes a little thinner. And so, for
if you
us,
really want to be a tweaker, I put thinner rings on my jigs. Yeah.
These are thinner, right?
Mine are thinner. Mine are thinner.
So who does the brazing?
I do.
They're welded.
It's welded. It's a TIG weld.
It's good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
it's really good.
So
you see some of the jigs and they have little bumps on them. These have no bumps on them.
It's fused together. So that's stainless steel. There's no filler material. It's not bronze brazing. It's a TIG weld. So it's all stainless steel.
Which is stronger than a braze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason that these jigs carry a little heftier price tag, and it's everything you just heard right there. It's everything that goes into. They're not putting the cheapest hook that they could find on and the cheapest ring that they could find, because that would drive their cost way down. It's 100% built on the performance of the lure. The rings match the lure, that matches the hook, that matches it. Like, there are a lot of surface irons out there. You could look at them on the rack, because I know that we have it in our store, and brand to be named, to not be named. There might be 4 different hooks on the same jig.
Yeah.
And it's because, that's what they had, or that's what was cheaper. It's not that way with these particular ones. Like the hook is critical, in their opinion, to how that lure performs, and it's 100% built for the performance. If it costs an extra $1, well, that's just what it is, because that's what it takes to make the best lure.
So one other thing I just noticed, a little slow sometimes. The B3 and the Giga are the same size jig.
It's the same length.
Same length. It's just a different hole placement.
No, the shape of the jig
is different.
Oh, okay.
The length is the same.
So, and the B3 weighs a little bit more. So when you say same size, are we talking length or are we talking weight?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it different materials in them?
It's the same material, but they're different shapes.
Thickness.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I see now. You turn it on the side, and then you can see the difference in the thickness.
In the profiles. Yep.
Yeah, in the profiles. Yeah. Amazing. How do you figure all this stuff out?
Well, a lot of failure. Well, you know what's really going to work? That didn't work at all. And even when you're machining, when I sandcast them at first and we play with shapes, and then you come up with, is it going to hold up when the machine makes it? Because sometimes, you have limitations based on the bits, based on the kind of machine. And so, as you go down in sizes of bits, and end mills is what they call them, you can get finer detail, but it takes more time on the machine. So it's production. It's things where the machine is ripping super fast and pulling material off there, because every moment on the CNC machine costs money. And so how do you get that price point, and how do you do it? So you can get finer detail. You can do things. How are you getting a fine finish on there? Are you bead blasting it before you do it? All these things that take time, like Rick said, time is money. We want to produce the right jig. And so we're trying to hold tolerances. We're trying to hold, things are right for what we believe. Other companies can do what they do. Totally. We're trying to keep quality up there as best we can. And that is, important to us. Matt told me one time, if our name is on it, we want it to be right. And
you do your own CNC work, or you sub it out?
I used to do it all myself, and now I have a partner that we use, and I'm really grateful for the work they do, to produce the thousands and thousands of jigs we do. Sure. One guy can't do it. And so I have a partnership with a CNC shop here in town, and I'm very grateful for them. They are fantastic, and I'm really, impressed. They've taught me a lot too. Manufacturing is one of those things you think you know something about, and then you talk with guys who do it, and they say, well, what about this? What about this? And sometimes they're coming up with the what about this because they want to save a nickel. And then you have to have the conversation about, I understand why you want to do that, and we would prefer to do it this way. It's why everybody sends it to China, if you don't know, because the Chinese make it cheaper. But you can't keep quality control as much as
these
you can.
These are all made in the U.S.
All American made, even made right here in San Diego.
Wow. So yeah, all these are painted and ringed in La Mesa in a garage.
They are. Yeah,
That's cool. Hey, Harry in Chula Vista has a question here. He says, good morning, great show. You mentioned the pink jig. How is the performance compared to other colors? Also, what is your favorite knot to tie on a jig?
Ooh, good questions.
So for me, yellowtail fishing color does not matter to me. I just want to be able to see it at the extension of my cast. With that being said, you need to be confident in what you're fishing. If mint seems to be the hottest color around, I very rarely fish an all mint jig, but that's just because I don't think it really matters. But pink's going to get bit just fine. You put it in front of a yellowtail, it's more about how it's swimming, and these lures swim. So they will get a bite. As far as knot, I tie San Diego knot. San Diego knot, direct to the jig, just a single San Diego. And
single San Diego.
It's the quickest, easiest, and it works just fine.
San Diego jam is the thing. Here's what I would say. This is what I heard from a tackle guy, a seller of tackles. Hot pink and chartreuse are the two most popular colors across all fish species.
Really?
Now, is that saltwater? But, if you look at freshwater, where I grew up in Minnesota, hot pink and chartreuse are a dominant color.
Yeah. Chartreuse especially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chartreuse is across the board.
It is.
Fly fishing and everything. Yeah. I mean, look at Clouser minnows. They're all chartreuse and white, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what we like.
I thought this was a fun one. It says, good morning, gentlemen. I completely understand your special connection that you have with your products being available at the San Diego landings, but we're dying up here for Two Fish Jigs. Is there any chance of seeing them farther north, like Channel Islands? Also, Matt, is there any opportunity of having a sponsored workshop style trip through Captain's Concepts or Two Fish Jigs? That's from Aaron calling us from up in Santa Barbara.
Great questions. They are up at Savon Tackle up in Rancho Santa Fe Springs, Santa Fe Springs.
Yeah.
So they are up at Savon. We'd also have them up at Hogan's Tackle and Dana Landing. Dana Point, man, I'm really failing here. We also have them in all the landings here in San Diego, Dana Landing, Seaforth Landing, and they will ship them. Our problem is, how do we get them up there as far north? And I wish those guys fished the surface iron more up there in the Channel Islands, but they don't.
And you only sell through the dealers, so you'd have to call Fisherman's Landing, Dana Landing, Seaforth Sport Fishing, and then they'd ship them.
They will, and that's the beauty of a CNC jig. Because a CNC jig it's not you're picking one off the rack. They're
Right.
all, you say, I
All
want
right,
this
yeah.
color and this, and it's going to be the same thing. Now, I do like to touch them with my own hands and look at them, but for a sandcast jig, that makes a big difference. For a CNC jig, it doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no variation is what we promise.
Yeah. Rudy in Carlsbad has a great one, a little lengthy, but bear with me because it's a good one. He says, good morning, gentlemen. I have jumped on late this morning, but I'm stoked to hear that Bohdan and Matt are here. Two Fish has officially ruined me on irons, and now it takes up most of my slots on my iron bag. I already covered, I apologize, but do you guys know color and size that would work well in La Jolla? Oh, as well, a brass monkey color and retrieval. It seems I have more 240s than the rest, but man, I think every Two Fish iron I have has gotten bit. Thanks for everything. Great show.
Thanks,
I
Rudy.
love that.
Yeah, you guys gotta love to hear that.
For La Jolla, traditionally it's a small jig place, fishing A1s and Tatty C's and stuff like that. So the mini or the LJ are smaller offerings. If you wanted to downsize, and if you think that's the name of the game, definitely the mini's a sleeper. It's tougher to fish because it is smaller, but I've gotten some bites in La Jolla on that jig, as well as the LJ.
This is the mini, right?
That's the mini, yeah. So it's like a A1 size lure.
Uh-huh.
If the fish are boiling around, they're tough to hook. There's something about a small lure. They just
And how do you fish it? Fast, slow?
Standard medium fast or medium slow. It depends on conditions. But your standard surface iron retrieve, maybe a little slower just because it is a smaller lure, especially if you're fishing it on like a Trinidad 40 or something. If you're able to cast that lure on a traditional jig stick, you might have to slow it down a little bit just because it is a small lure. It doesn't have the same kind of tolerances as a big jig.
That small jig swims and gets bit fantastic. The difficulty is just getting it to them. Right.
Yeah.
You got to have that one. You need to start to have a little bit of specialized gear to make that happen.
It's so light, a lot of guys struggle to cast it on a Trinidad 20. I even have some friends who are fishing it on, the low profile bass gear and doing really well on it.
I was going to say, like something you'd fish calicos on.
Exactly.
Right?
I had a day on the Twilight boat where I had a 240 on because that's what I fish a lot of the time. And I wasn't getting as many bites as I wanted. And I put on the mini, and there was a window where almost every cast I caught a calico. Now, This is the question too. Do you want to catch big fish or the most fish? Because this is where I would say, in La Jolla, they do get keyed in on smaller baits, but is it required? I would say no. I think you can fish a 240 or even a Giga in La Jolla and still get bites. There are days, though, where it will outperform. And if you're going for numbers, I think the mini in La Jolla is where to go. If you're trying to catch the most fish, now, are you going to catch a lot of shorts? I get shocked how many tiny calico I catch on the Giga. I get shocked at what they'll eat and what they'll attack. For me, that is a great question. And he said, colors for a yo-yo? Man, yo-yo, I think, whatever color you want.
I'm thinking Tranks 400 all the way with this.
Yeah,
it works well.
Oh yeah, you can cast that good on a Tranks 400.
Yeah.
Our buddy Danny when we went bluefin fishing, foamer fishing, was fishing that on like the smaller grade bluefin, and it was lights out.
Deadly.
Tranks 400 working really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including a yo-yo jig question that I thought was a fun one. Hey, we got more Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live.
It's sales event time, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. The Ford year-end sales event has limited time offers featuring Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport with standard 4x4 capability and GOAT modes, goes over any type of terrain. I know people that'll be taking their own Bronco Sport around to tackle their holiday to-do list. Shopping for the perfect gift? How about the Ford Explorer, the all-time best-selling SUV that can fit the whole family this holiday season? Inventory is arriving daily with great selection to take your test drive. Come see the award-winning lineup yourself before the year ends. Hurry into your local San Diego County Ford dealer today.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
It's time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And, you know, when it comes to throwing surface irons, Shimano owns the market when it comes to the right reels for it.
I mean, you heard it from the man that is the Lures, the Trinidad 20. And I agree. It is the single best surface iron reel that's ever been made, and I don't know how it could ever be topped.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, Bohdan and my favorite, Tranx 500. I mean, you talk about ease of casting and ease of use. You don't have to worry about going back and forth. It levels a line out for you.
It's
And then
great.
we talked about smaller jigs.
Yeah.
The Tranx 400.
Works fantastic.
Yeah.
You can throw it on a Tranx 500 too.
Yeah, all of them. So if you want surface iron, Shimano's the only way to go. Tranx 20, Trinidad 20, the Tranx 500, and the Tranx 400 at your local Shimano dealer.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limit, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open parties, schedule check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing, having fun with you. Still plenty of times to text in your questions if you want to talk to the boys. But only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app, and make sure you include your contact info because there's some really good ones in there.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. Do you have a great text?
I thought so. We talked a little bit about yo-yo jig fishing a minute ago, and this one kind of ran off the desk. Good morning, guys. Hoping you could talk a little bit about yo-yo fishing. Thanks to you guys, I've got my surface iron gear very dialed in. And I really like fishing those setups, fishing yo-yo. Hoping Brawley can talk a little bit about what length and style of rod you use, what style of reel you like to use. My plan for this off season is to build a full yo-yo outfit before the season fires off. Looking forward to going on a few trips on the San Diego this year. That's Rory and Lakeside.
All right. So for me, a yo-yo setup, I go heavy because you can get away with it. For me, I fish a Fathom 40 or a Torque 40. You could get away with like a Talica 20. I like the Fathom just because it's a little bit lighter. And I fish an 8-foot rod. I fish a CalStar 800 XH or double XH. I'm either fishing 50 or 60 pound mono, but the key for me is I have my reel almost all the way full with braid. And I'm fishing a mono top shot, a long mono top shot of like 75 to 100 feet. You need that stretch in there just because the treble hooks and the heavy lure, you need some shock absorption, but you want to have your spool full of line when you hit the bottom, just so you can have speed control. If we're fishing really deep, sometimes we fish out in 50 fathoms. And if your jig hits the bottom in 50 fathoms, you have a lot of line off your spool. If you don't have a lot of line on your reel and you have a tall spool or you have a smaller diameter spool, you're not going to be picking up the same kind of line. You might be winding really fast, but your jig isn't going as fast. So if you have that more line on your spool, you have more depth control and speed control at depth. So I have 65 or 80 pound braid almost all the way to the top of the spool with 100 feet of mono. And I do a lot of casting. That's my biggest thing with yo-yo jigs, especially in shallower water. If we're in 20 fathoms or shallower, I'm doing a lot of casting. A lot of times, especially at the islands where there's sea lions, the sea lions are on the boat and the yellowtail don't want to come underneath the boat. Even though I'm setting up with yellowtail underneath the boat when we stop the boat, doesn't mean they're going to stay there. So casting around, casting where the chum is, or watching the birds, casting out and away and fishing at a 45-degree angle is really, really big deal.
My favorite yo-yo jig reel by a ton, and I think it's the greatest thing ever. You have to get a little bit tweaky to make it just right, but it's that Shimano Osea Jigger 4000. But you got to make some modifications to make it the right yo-yo jig reel for fishing at home. It's a great jigging reel out of the box, but it's not meant for winding a zinc donkey up. But if you got to take the handle off of it and put a traditional Trinidad 30 style handle off of it. From my opinion, you got to remove the auto engage
You have
feature.
to remove that.
But if you take that out, which we do at the shop a lot, and you put a traditional handle on there, I don't think you can beat a yo-yo jig
No,
reel
that's
because you get exactly what Matt's talking about. You get that nice tall spool, you get a real high rate of retrieve. but there's something about the power of that reel is just
incredible power.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
So what handle do you put on it?
Just a Trinidad, like the same handle that would come on a Trinidad 30. But the problem is that's not a cheap handle. One of the reasons that a Trinidad 20 feels so good in your hands, like that handle's it's nice and it's got bearings. So you need to buy that reel, then get a Trinidad 20 or 30 handle that does fit. You got to do a couple of real minor modifications.
What I did was just shorten up the handle because they have the 2 handle holes. I just shortened it up because the jig, when it's jigging style, it's long, and that's going to be tough to yo-yo fish. But if you shorten it up a little bit, if you don't want to buy a new handle, that works pretty good
fine.
too. Yeah.
And how do you take out the auto engage?
You take it to Fisherman's Landing.
Yeah, that's something inside the reel.
Yeah, it's internal.
Yeah.
But man, you do those things for a Wahoo bomb or winding a yo-yo jig reel.
That reel is gnarly.
The Osea Jigger 400.
4,000.
4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reel has got some.
Yeah. And it's a lever drag reel.
Star drag.
Excuse me. Star drag.
Yeah.
Star drag.
Yeah.
The 2000 they make in a lever drag or a star drag. But this you want it. If you took a Trinidad, made it 40, made it a little skinnier, made it just
That is a very, very good reel. Cool. We've caught a lot of cows on mine.
Oh.
Yeah, for jigging.
No kidding.
And you wind them in.
And that's that's a single speed star drag reel. And I've watched the boys on his boat catch giant ones. Like it just defies what should be able to be done on a star drag single speed reel.
Power.
It's got a lot of power.
So Derek in Lake Elsinore wants to stay on the same subject, and that's yo-yo fishing. He says, I know you guys are talking about hook size on surface irons affecting the way it swims, but is it okay to upsize the hooks on a yo-yo jig?
Absolutely.
I would say yes. Yeah. You could go to those owner ST66s or hooks like that and definitely get away with it.
Bigger hooks.
Yeah. Bigger.
Do you
heavier
recommend
hooks.
that, or what do you put on your yo-yo?
We put them stock, and so we use a 4.0 VMC hook. It's sturdy enough.
So, and these are what size?
So that's a 3.0 right there.
3.0.
If you
So
pick
the
up the
4.0
Giga,
is thicker.
These
you
are
pick
the
up the
4.0s.
Giga.
This is a 4.0.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wire, because it's a bigger size hook, it is a little bit bigger. It is plenty big. Caught a lot of 30-pound fish on it. It works just fine.
And how big are the brass monkeys? What size are those?
How big are they? The hook is a 4.0.
No, but how big is the jig? Are they come in different sizes, different
Nope,
weights?
there's only one size brass jig we make, and that's the brass monkey, whether it's CNC or whether it's hand cast. The reality is that brass is heavy, it gets down, it's dense, and
about the size of a 6X Junior.
Yeah, it's a smaller profile jig,
It's
but
smaller
since it's brass, it sinks about as fast as the full size jig.
So that was our idea, something that's heavier, but we don't want a full size jig. So we would say it's a step down from a full size.
You made a very boutique jig at one point that was really expensive. That was really cool, and it was a brass LJ.
Yep.
Is that something that ever is going to be a thing, that a show special thing, or is that just something that was more than it was?
If guys ask for it, we'll make it.
I got you.
If guys ask for it, I think the brass monkey is way better than the LJ. But
Okay.
Matt caught a big one winding it on the surface. So it does have some motion in there and does really swim, I think, really good. I think the brass monkey is superior.
better,
But it's one of those things where we did something and guys really fell in love with it.
Sure.
It was one of those things where we did something to see if we could do it.
Yeah.
Brass jigs, were they going to be the thing to do or not? So.
And do you
If fishermen's put in a special order, we would definitely.
Okay.
do it.
and do you does the brass monkey is it still available in 2 versions?
It is, and
CNC
at
to NOS,
PCS it will be available. We're partnering with Ola Cappy. So Captain Danny is going to be selling some hooded sweatshirts and is going to be selling some CNC lures for us at the show, and we'll
Who is
have
that?
Danny Higley, who's out of Oceanside. He used to be one of the deckhands on the San Diego, and
he's
still
got
is.
a little 4-pack. I think it's a 36 yellowfin that he runs out
cool.
of. That he runs out of Oceanside.
Out of
So if you're looking for a charter fishing bass or San Clemente or tuna,
Oh, really?
he's your guy. If you're
And
up-
what's the name of the charter company?
Ola Cappy.
Ola Cappy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ola with an H. Yeah, Ola like the Spanish.
Ola, hi.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And so
Ola Cappy.
Ola Cappy.
fishermen's will have at the PCS show, and then Danny will have some things
Oh,
that they don't.
he has
so
his own booth.
he's
Yeah.
got the booth, and we're partnering with him.
That's cool. And he'll have some of the things that maybe wouldn't be on the rack.
Exactly.
At the shop.
So we're going to have some things that'll be show specials.
Yeah,
We'll have the
specialty
Jumbo
things.
J through him. We'll have some sweatshirts and T-shirts through him, and that CNC brass monkey. Yeah. The problem with CNC brass is, the price point. Are guys willing to spend, that
It's a
kind of
niche.
dollar on that? And some guys are. I fish it because I think it's a fantastic lure.
But what a good thing to get at the show. Like you said, I'm sure for a company standpoint, it makes a lot more sense to make the everyday, really good fishing, really good swimming, but more affordable for everybody thing. That's what you put on the rack at the tackle store every day. But it's always fun to have some specialty stuff.
I will say
at the
that
show.
Brass Monkey, our last 3 trips running at the Coronado Islands, was by far the hottest jig.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was guys fishing that, and they definitely caught more than anybody.
And it always has been and always will be a brass jig.
Yep. Well, maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Hey, Randy in San Marcos says, great show, guys. Got a question regarding bluefin jig fishing. Does Two Fish Jigs build a tungsten jig for bluefin fishing?
It's a good question. No,
No.
we don't. We talked about it. Tungsten melts at about 5,000 degrees, so it's not going to be something I'm going to be melting. And
Versus like brass melts at.
Brass melts at about 1,800 degrees.
Okay.
So if we're talking Fahrenheit versus Celsius, but 1,800 versus 5,000, that's a
Yeah,
big,
it's a big
difference.
difference.
And a lot of the tungsten is made through pressure, where they press it together, and that creates the heat and pressure. So, tungsten has been the revolution this last couple of years for bluefin, and I think it makes a difference. But I will tell you, I fished Fish for Fish on Pacific Dawn this year with our nighttime jig, which I think works really well, the Midnight Rider. The Midnight Rider is a lead jig, but it's compact. It's like an Eddie Bomb, and I think it fishes every bit as good as a tungsten. Matt will disagree with me a little bit, because there are times those tungsten jigs are just a game changer.
Well, daytime, right?
And nighttime.
Nighttime.
Yeah. I don't get to fish much at night, but talking to Gavin, it definitely is a game changer in the nighttime. But it was definitely a game changer in the daytime too. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's nice about a Midnight Rider is you're out the door for a couple of bucks. And you need to submit your W-2s and your last tax return if you're wanting to buy a couple of tungsten.
You got to take out a loan for those.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Gavin, your partner in Captain's Concepts, let's talk a little bit about Captain's Concepts. What do you guys do on? And I got to set a date. Got to work with you and Gavin on getting you guys together.
Yeah, we'll come back out.
Yeah, come out, hang out before the season starts. It's always better on Let's Talk Hookup to get these guys when they're off the boats.
Yes, it's tough during the summer,
which is this time of the year. What's going on with Captain's Concepts?
We're still going strong. I wowould say videos aren't as we're not putting them out as much, but the last few videos I made have been a lot longer. Hour, 45-minute long videos, deep diving in all kinds of stuff. Surface iron fishing. Last year we talked with Danny. I sat down with Danny and did, I think it was almost 2 hours. Danny Wade.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to do another one of those. I know Danny wants to come back on. It's good talking to someone else. We're trying to incorporate a few more guys, just because I'm doing the full day thing. He's doing the 1 to 3 day thing. We'd like to get some more long range stuff involved. Maybe I just did a Cedros video. So if you have questions, we're always open to questions. A lot of guys hit us up, like for trips, they prep their stuff. I have these rods. What do I need to bring? But we also do a lot of videos where guys, I'm struggling with this. Can you go talk about that? And we do a lot of videos like that too.
I think that's the very best value of Captain's Concepts, is more than just the instructional. Is like you guys do such a good job of being a direct access. Like you become a member of that. Like you get a platform that you get to talk to Captain Matt Brawlin. You get to talk to Captain
you
Gavin.
can shoot me a message about really anything fishing, and I'll shoot you straight.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I know those two guys. I caught my first 100-pound tuna with Gavin on the Pacific Queen, and I've had my best yellowtail day fishing with Captain Matt. And so, those two captains have a special place in my heart personally for fishing with them, and have grown so much as a fisherman learning from these guys. They've learned a few things from being on the water, and as teachers, I think that's the thing. Who knew a boat captain could be a teacher like this? Who knew he had a future in education? Yeah.
He's doing great.
He is.
That's what you do.
I just want to catch more fish.
That's it. You have a great text, all right?
Yeah, I thought so. It's from Chuck from Long Beach. He said, what changes, if anything, in your presentation fishing surface iron from when you fish yellowtail versus something different like bonita or bass, etc.?
Absolutely nothing. Let the jig work. There's a lot of guys in the old days where people would vary their retrieve. I've heard a lot of guys say that was a barracuda retrieve, that was a bonita. That might have been true at one point in time before jigs were really figured out, if we're talking 60, 70 years ago. But today, I use the same retrieve, whether I'm fishing calico bass or yellowtail. I maybe slow it down a tiny bit with calico, but
I'm gonna disagree.
Yeah,
I'm gonna disagree.
Yep.
For bass, I slow down a lot.
Yeah.
I'm slow rolling that jig and keeping it out there, and that's the only time I think color matters. I'm a definite believer that color for bass makes a difference, and whether it's the wounded soldier, I like yellows and like oranges for bass, and sometimes white, especially in La Jolla. I've seen white lures work really good on the bass more than like the standard like yellow, caterpillar yellow type stuff in La Jolla.
Do you think there's a difference in retrieve though, other than slowing it down for calico?
I'm a slow guy. I'm like slower than I almost ever whine for yellowtail. But there's times where I whine like that for yellowtail too. But for the most part, I'm slowing way down for the bass.
But not bonita.
Maybe if they're missing the jig, try to keep it in their face longer.
Like you said, you just if it's you keep if you're not seeing what you think you should be, like you should be getting a bite in this way, you're willing to speed up, slow down, do this, do that, tie a different lure on until you find what.
But that's
what
a conditions thing, not a
Right.
fish thing.
No,
That's
it's-
not for a species of fish that I would say. But
The bass, I think, definitely like a slower jig for the most part. There's times where they're juiced. If you're fishing like San Clemente Island, it's a little different than fishing Point Loma or La Jolla. But for the most part, I do slow my jig down and let it do its thing. For yellowtail, they're a little more amped and they're willing to chase a lure down. A bass will chase a lure down, no doubt. But I like to keep it, especially when we're fishing the kelp. The longer you can keep it near the stringer, the more chance you have of hooking a bass.
And what about barracuda? It's something that we don't have a lot of the last couple of years, but boy, this fishery is built on catching barracuda.
Man.
Does that
Yeah.
change faster, slower?
Day to day. Once you, and like with barracuda, if you find the right speed or the right, like just the right action, you can just clean their clock. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But sometimes they want it fast. And a lot of times, the one thing I will say is when there's yellowtail mixed in with barracuda, finding out the right speed for that. If you can catch the yellowtail when the barracuda are going crazy, you're definitely stepping your game up.
And is that usually faster than the barracuda?
Not
but
always.
Not necessarily.
Not always. No,
Interesting.
no. Most of the time it is faster or going with a bigger jig. That Giga was kind of a thing where, like, if we see those barracuda around, I would usually bump up in jig size just to kind of keep them off it. One thing that I learned a lot in La Jolla was you want the barracuda to be on your jig. You don't want your lure just out there in the open. You want the barracuda's attention. You want the barracuda bumping your jig and stuff. You want to get the barracuda to bite it, pull it away from them, and that's when the yellowtail bite it a lot of times. So yeah, you want to create competition.
I like that. One of the things I think, I struggled with barracuda fishing for a long time is sometimes barracuda will hit the front of the jig, and you have to wind it through their mouth to get the hooks in them. And there have been days where, for whatever reason, you come tight on a barracuda, or you think they have it, and you didn't get the hooks in them. They just bit it and are swimming with it. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of guys struggle with.
Hey, Sean in Blossom Valley says, good morning, guys. Great show. How long do you like to wait before reeling your surface iron? I typically shoot for 10 feet down before reeling. And what do you prefer?
For me, most of the time, I'm winding as soon as it hits the water. I believe that, especially if you're casting towards a fish, like you see visual fish on the surface, that if it hits the water and doesn't immediately start swimming, they're definitely losing their interest. Because it doesn't look.
A lot of times they see it from the hit on the
I'm
water,
sure.
right?
I mean, you could watch them a lot of times. They'll see it in the air.
Yeah.
Like if you're chumming for yellowfin tuna and they're biting really good, you'll throw a scoop of sardines out and you'll see them chase it in the air and wait for it to hit.
right?
Oh yeah. So I'm a firm believer, if your jig hits the water in front of a fish and doesn't immediately start swimming, their interest is gone.
Interesting.
I'll tell you, that's one of the other reasons that you spend the money to buy a Two Fish Jig. A lesser quality lure needs to sink down so that it doesn't pop out of the water and start spinning on your retrieve. And You go buy your JJ 240 and make a cast with it and hit the water and start turning the handle. It's going to stay in the water the whole time.
There might be times where it's choppy or something, and there's wind chop where you might have to let it sink a little bit. But for the most part, if the weather's decent, there's not white capping and stuff. As soon as that jig hits the water, I'm turning the handle.
It's one of my biggest frustrations in lesser lures is that they don't stay in the water well, and you shouldn't have to wait 10 seconds before you turn the handle on your lure to keep it in the water. Like, that jig's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, another good one.
I thought so. It says, hey, when you're fishing, Brala mentioned having 20 jig rods. For an inside advanced course, I have a question. Do you fish specific jig rods for specific lures? I have a 10-foot Alua. I have a CalStar 100 mag. I'd love to know what your recommendations are if you could have a specific rod for a specific lure.
Yeah, I definitely, there's certain rods perform well with certain weight lures. So like an Alua likes a bigger jig. Like most Aluas like a bigger jig. Once you start, I would say Alua is kind of the top end of like beefiness. And then as you go down, you can go down in jig size. So like the Aluas, I usually fish like a Giga or the B3. If it's a full length Alua, like a 10-footer, you can get away with the standard like JJ size jig. And then once I get into like I have too many to name, but like a 100J per se, you could fish a little bit smaller lure like that LJ and stuff like that. And then once I get into like the minis, I have like very specific rods. That Wahoo, the UC Wahoo is a good one. That's a really good rod to fish all kinds of jigs. You could fish the Giga to the mini on that. But then I have rods that they don't make anymore that I fish a lot for those smaller jigs. Some old like Tatty blanks, not the CUIs, the old Tatty like graphite blanks when they made those. I have a couple of those for fishing the mini. There's another one that I like is the UC, what is it? UC 85 Phantom was a good one to fish. Was with a Trinidad 16 and 30 pound. Fishing that mini was money.
Cool.
This is why you get Captain's Concepts. This is exactly why you subscribe to Captain's Concepts. Yeah. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming here, including finding out who's got themselves a whole bunch of brand new lures. More Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live.
Hi, this is Captain Ray Lopez, owner-operator of the American Angler. I've spent more than half my life aboard the American Angler, along with my partners Brian and Lori, developing a team that's as good as it gets. I've been fortunate to spend time on the ocean with so many fine people that I look forward to fishing with. We can't thank you enough for being part of the American Angler family, and if you haven't joined us, we love the opportunity to meet you. Text or call Lori at 619-223-5414 or check AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com.
Power your boat with Norsk Lithium, the ultimate choice for marine adventures. Our batteries deliver unmatched starting, trolling, and electronics power, packed with cutting-edge technology like Deep Sleep to eliminate phantom draw. Built with rugged BCI-compliant cases, they're designed to handle the toughest conditions on the water. Stay in control with the Norsk Guardian app. Monitor performance, track battery health, and unlock advanced features right from your phone. Charge with confidence using Evotech onboard and DC-to-DC chargers for fast, efficient, and hassle-free power management. Designed for maximum compatibility, these chargers keep your entire system running at peak performance, so you're always ready for the next trip. With a 10-plus 2-year non-prorated warranty, you can trust your batteries to perform for years to come. Our industry-leading warranty ensures you get the most out of your investment. With dedicated customer support if you ever need it. Upgrade your marine power today. Set up your custom system at NorskLithium.com or visit Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood. Norsk Lithium. No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers. everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Okay, it's time. Bohdan's going to do us the honor. We're going to find out if we have a caller or a texter winning today. We're going to flip in the coin, and we have a caller today. Congratulations, Chuck from, Alex from San Carlos was our caller. My bad. I had him picked up there. Alex, congratulations. You have got yourself a bag full of Two Fish Jigs. Congratulations.
With the new B3.
Yeah, with the new B3, which Matt doesn't even have, right?
I have a couple of them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're getting excited about
does
that one.
Does Brandon have
Yeah.
one?
Who cares?
Yeah.
He doesn't even fish anymore.
He's sleeping through it.
Yeah,
for
pickleball.
sure. Yeah, he didn't even show up today.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are you going to do with him? Anyway, Two Fish Jigs, great job. I want to mention, you guys are not sponsors. I mean, you guys are just fishermen, and you're just doing a great job. And this is purely an exercise in a service to our listeners and a service to you guys because you're friends and such like that.
We're
and
so grateful, Pete.
And we're grateful for you and what you guys do and everything like that. You're fantastic. You do a great job. How does one attain a Two Fish Jig?
Well, you can get them at any of the landings, at Fisherman's Landing, Seaforth Landing, Dana Landing, H&M has them, even Point Loma has them. You can get them any of those landings in San Diego, Hogan's Tackle up in Dana, and also Save On Tackle in Rancho Santa Fe Springs.
And if you're up in Santa Barbara, like a lot of our listeners, or you're somewhere else in New Mexico,
you
we
can
have
call any of the landings here in town, and they'll mail you.
and they'll ship them to you. Yeah,
Keep
for
making
sure.
the best surface iron.
Yeah.
You're doing that now.
Doing it
Just
great.
keep doing that.
Yeah. And Matt, Captain's Concepts, how do we subscribe to Captain's Concept?
If you just Google Captain's Concepts, it takes you right to us on Patreon. You can follow us on Instagram as well. Two Fish Jigs has an Instagram. Captain's Concepts has an Instagram. Follow us there.
Okay.
And there's links to everything you need to see there.
Okay. And when are we going to see you back on San Diego?
Well, the boat's up in San Pedro right now. So as soon as we're done with boat work up there, we'll bring it down here and do some more boat work. And then hopefully February, March or something.
Be back on the water.
I hope so.
All right.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready. Yeah,
Thanks,
for
you
sure.
guys.
Thank you all. Thank you guys. Thanks
Great
for the
job, you guys.
And thank you all listeners out there and callers and texters. And we'll be back. Tomorrow is the big day, the Christmas Spectacular, right here with Corey, Rick, and myself. We have 7 prize packages that are each right around $300 to $500 each to give away tomorrow. It's going to be quite the day. You know the story. Great stories, songs, poems, contributions to the show. That's what we're looking for. 7 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Right back here on Facebook, YouTube Live, 97.3 The Fan, and of course that Let's Talk app. We'll see you then.